This is KPRC 2 News at 10.
Now at 10, Ida tearing a path through Louisiana, ripping a roof from a hospital in Galliano near the coast. No reports of injuries there. And this is a look at Ida as the eye of the storm passed Golden Meadow, Louisiana. That's just north of where the storm made landfall. You can see high winds left damaged buildings behind. And right now, Ida is still a powerful Category 2 storm. The storm center now near Baton Rouge. So Louisiana is far from out of danger tonight. Hundreds of thousands of people without power. The only lights are in homes or businesses with generators. And Ida is not finished with the Big Easy just yet. The rain and wind still a big problem there tonight. Take a look at this. The NBC station in New Orleans posting video of a flooded home in Laplace. People in that area asking for rescues via social media tonight. Our crews have been reporting from the New Orleans area all day on click2houston.com. Our Brandon Walker taking a deserved break. He'll report for you live tomorrow morning on KPRC 2 News Today. But our Robert Arnold still out in the storm tonight. He is live from New Orleans with a look at the conditions now and some of what he's seen throughout the day. Robert?
We're still about 2 blocks away from Tulane University, and the streets are not going down. None of this water is going down. The good news, though, is it's not getting into any of the homes in this area yet. Most of the homes here are built up high. They're set far back off the street, and we have not seen anything getting into the homes here. But, like I said, this water is just not going down, and we keep getting more rain, more rain, more rain. This is actually a bit of improvement from what we've been seeing. It's incredibly dangerous trying to make your way through the city right now, even though people are still doing it, because, as you've reported, all of New Orleans is without power. And so what we're seeing are problems like this, if you follow me over here, is you get people, they start to panic. Their home starts to take on some water. They're without power. They're by themselves. So they panic. Like this young lady's car here. We were over here working, and we heard this scream. And when we came back out, we saw she had actually gone through and was going a little fast, and she snapped her tire. She ran over a huge tree branch and snapped her tire off her car. So she panicked because she was trying to get to her grandparents' house. We were able to give her a quick ride. Her grandparents were there. She is okay. But it is still a very dangerous situation out here tonight. But before we get to the rest of that, let's go ahead and show you a little bit of what we saw throughout the day in this area.
Large signs, utility poles, and trees. Ida's winds wreaked havoc throughout New Orleans and surrounding cities. Ida made her presence known early this morning. Canals were swollen, and her winds whipped the waters of Lake Pontchartrain into whitecaps and pushed those waters toward the levees.
Those brutal winds during this storm have been swirling around Lake Pontchartrain. This is an area that has just been worked on and worked on and worked on. We're starting to see power lines snap, trees come down, and all manner of debris blown throughout the area.
Throughout the afternoon and into the evening, Ida continued to rip the sides off of buildings, uproot utility poles, and bring down huge chunks of debris. Stephen Sterling was home when these 2 utility poles went down right across from his house.
We had just opened the door, and all of a sudden the transformer blew here, and the lines went, and then it blew again. It looked like a welding machine going off, you know.
Driving became incredibly treacherous as streets filled with water, downed lines, and other pieces of debris. This poor man slid off the road into a light pole and became disoriented. Fortunately, a neighbor came by and helped get him home.
And there are still down lines everywhere. What we just showed you is barely even scratches the surface of what's been happening throughout this area, not just New Orleans, but all of the surrounding cities, and especially in the southern parishes. So none of this water is going down. You have down lines everywhere, and so police are still begging people, please stay off the roads because of things that happened like that young lady there. They cannot get out here to get you. We've seen maybe 1 police officer in the last 4 or 5 hours come through this area because it is too dangerous at this point. So they're telling people, please stay home because we can't come out to help you until the storm fully gets through the area. And judging by what we're seeing here, we have a long way to go. Reporting live from New Orleans, Robert Arnold, KPRC 2 News.
Robert, thank you for your reporting. Continue to stay safe out there, my friend. The latest now on Ida's path and strength. Chief Meteorologist Frank Billingsley in now. It looks like these life-threatening conditions are going to continue throughout the night.
105-mile-an-hour winds as we speak. I have the latest. I want to start with this tweet. David Bernard and his family are from Houston. He went to Memorial. He went to UT. I've known him for his whole career. He is a New Orleans TV meteorologist over there. He's been on the air all day. He's their chief. He tweeted out, "This is the hardest day of my 30-year career, and tomorrow isn't looking much better. We are being devastated." I think that really tells you what is going on there in New Orleans. This is a horrible situation. This is the worst case scenario that this city really in modern times has seen as this system continues to move through. Now keep in mind, Ike, when it made landfall, was 110 Category 2. This is still 105. This is basically, they now have Ike after having a 150-mile-an-hour storm earlier. So they've been dealing with that all day, and now 125-mile-an-hour gusts moving north-northwest at 9. That will take it up toward Jackson as a tropical storm, 60-mile-an-hour winds there, and then tropical depression as it goes through Tennessee and the Virginias, and it'll be off the coast on Thursday, and may re-strengthen. 40-mile-an-hour winds there may go back to tropical storm. Now think about this. This is the business side of I-10, and you can see this eye going right over there, and it's going to be right over this part of I-10, the main I-10 lanes here. Who knows what this is doing to those highways and the help that's coming from the west? How are they going to get there? How are they going to get to New Orleans to help the power trucks that everybody's lined up to get in there? That's going to be a huge problem as this system continues to move through. All those boxes there are flash flood warnings. They have a flash flood emergency warning in New Orleans because of all of the heavy rain and the surge. Right here, this is Laplace right there. I'm going to zoom in here. You can see all of that pink. That's 7 to 10 inches of rain. That purple, that's 10 to 12, and look at that. It's coming up on 15 inches of rain right here on top of the surge that they are seeing, 12 to 16 feet, 5 to 8 north of Lake Pontchartrain, 4 to 7 Biloxi, 8 to 12 offshore. So that warning is still going on for the surge along with the heavy rains. And then the wind sustained in New Orleans right now, it's 62 miles per hour sustained. So this is everything that you hate to see on what we call the dirty side of a storm. And these winds, they're going to continue right there as a Cat 1 as it moves into Mississippi. We'll talk a lot more about this storm and what it's going to be doing as it goes through the rest of Mississippi and on into Tennessee, straight ahead in weather. Sion?
All right, Frank, thank you. And daylight will likely paint a very grim picture for parts of Louisiana when we get a look at the extent of the damage Ida left behind. And people across the Houston area already ready to step in to help. Rochelle Turner live now from a CenterPoint Energy lot in North Harris County with this story. Rochelle?
Sion, good afternoon. Because the city of New Orleans is without power, in a matter of hours, over 200 CenterPoint Energy workers and contractors will try to head into Louisiana to help restore some power. And they are not the only ones stepping in and helping out.
Hurricane Ida leaving behind a trail of destruction in southeast Louisiana.
We're praying for everybody in New Orleans and all over Louisiana.
As always, Houstonians are ready to lend a helping hand. Gallery Furniture displaying this sign, and Mattress Mag says they are sending about 30 trucks to Louisiana full of supplies.
Monday at Gallery Furniture from 8 till 5 in the afternoon, we're going to have a giant drive looking for people to bring non-perishable foods, diapers, all the normal things for hurricanes.
Mayor Turner says Lakewood Church is also collecting several items.
And then at the same time, the city will be partnering with the National Association of Christian Churches. They can accommodate anywhere between 500 to 1,000 people.
The U.S. Coast Guard sector in New Orleans setting up its incident command post in Houston. They are waiting on standby with boats, planes, and cutters.
We want to be able to get response out there as soon as possible, and being 5 hours away is what's going to allow us to do that and be out of that impacted area.
And the nonprofit Crowdsource Rescue, which focuses on natural disasters, is waiting for the storm to pass.
There are a variety of people who often get left behind in the storms, and you'll see this happen kind of time and time again, where people just get sort of left in the cracks. And so that's primarily who we're trying to help.
And take a look at your screen. Here is a list of items that people need in Louisiana. You can drop these items off at the Gallery Furniture location on the North Freeway. And again, you can find a full list of those items on our website. It's clicktohouston.com. Reporting live in North Houston tonight, I'm Rochelle Turner, KPRC 2 News.
Rochelle, thank you. And today's storm, a sharp reminder of another storm that hit Louisiana 16 years ago today. Hurricane Katrina made landfall as a Category 3 storm. More than 1,800 people were killed. And for those who experienced Katrina, today bringing back bitter and unpleasant memories. Our Bill Barajas spoke to a Katrina evacuee, and he's live now with a story near the Astrodome tonight. Bill?
Well, hard to believe 16 years have passed. A devastation still vivid on the minds of so many that went through Hurricane Katrina. If you remember, it's here at the Astrodome that thousands of evacuees have found shelter. Now, we spoke to one woman, a Louisiana native who now calls Houston home, who remembers Hurricane Katrina. She says she finds similarities between Ida and Katrina. Hurricane Ida is pushing inland. With it, hurricane-force winds, flooding, and widespread destruction. 16 years ago, a very similar scenario played out. Hurricane Katrina forever changing the lives of thousands.
It's one of the scariest things I've ever sat through. I was sitting in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and just the hurricanes coming through, the tornadoes and everything. And when I returned to New Orleans, which was where I lived at that time, that's when all the levees had breached.
The devastation forever etched in the mind of Lisa Benoit, a native of Houma, Louisiana. The storm causing more than $100 billion in damages and sadly left 1,833 people dead.
The recovery after is the worst thing I've ever been through in life. I lost everything.
Katrina made landfall as a Category 3 hurricane with winds of up to 125 miles per hour. Ida came ashore as a Category 4. Benoit, now a mother of 3, worries about family and friends and decided to ride out the storm.
I would never sit through another hurricane, and I know that, I checked in on my husband's grandparents, and they're like, no, we're not leaving. We're going to go to our cousin's house.
And Benoit said she did have some family members come and stay with her, the ones that decided to ride out the storm she's been in close contact with. At last check, she said everybody seems to be doing okay, despite the damage to material things. Live from NRG Park, Bill Barajas, KPRC 2 News.
Bill, thank you. And our coverage of Ida continues on our website, click2houston.com. There you will find a blog from our crews in the field and crews here in Houston with the very latest information. Taking a live look now at Baton Rouge, Hurricane Ida now lashing that city. We'll have much more still ahead. Next on KPRC 2 News at 10. We continue tracking Ida tonight. The incredible new video now out of St. Bernard Parish, that's east of New Orleans, is giving us an idea of just how quickly these waters move in a dangerous storm like this. There is only about an hour between the before and after shots of this video, and you can see just how fast that weather deteriorated and the floodwaters took over. A live look now in New Orleans as Ida continues to make its way through southeastern Louisiana tonight. The city in darkness, hundreds of thousands of people now without power, and it could be weeks before the lights are back on. Let's get you back over to Chief Meteorologist Frank Billingsley as we try to, come to grips with what's happening there right now.
I guess not weirdly, but the I storm is the most retired name. There have been 12 of them. This is going to be 13. I can promise you that. And the last one was last year, Iota, when we went into the Greek alphabet that went into Nicaragua and did all kinds of damage. But I can guarantee you, Ida, which replaced Isabel from 2003, that will be replaced. There again, there's I-10 Business, I-10 Main, and you can see the eye of the storm going right around Laplace. The police there have sent out all kinds of tweets saying that they are really under it with a number of high water rescues and flooding issues going on, and they are really in the worst part of the storm as it continues to move up. It looks like this is going to affect Hammond and then continue to move off to the north. There's a little wider view. You can get a sense of your bearings there. Lake Charles not in on this at all. I know they sigh of relief for them, but I tell you, New Orleans, we always talk about that right-hand punch. This is where you have your strongest surge, your strongest winds, your biggest tornado threat to the right side of the storm. That's just the way these storms work. Not to say that the clean side is definitely clean, but it's certainly a whole lot better when what they're seeing from New Orleans, really all the way to parts of Mobile. There are flash flood watches here and flash flood warnings that continue, I should say, with that emergency warning around the New Orleans area, but also in back over parts of toward Mobile Bay. This tornado watch is in effect until 6 in the morning. That's all the way through. They've already had a couple of tornado warnings that actually expired right at 10 o'clock as we came on the air, but they will see more as they go into tonight. And then there's that flash flood warning there. Look at all that rain that they've had in parts of Florida, way away from the eye of the storm. These feeder bands that have been coming in there and through Mobile Bay. So you look at those rain totals of 6 and 7 inches. And then again, these over here, 7 to 10 with 12 to 15 inches of rain now in Laplace as they continue through the night to get even more. So the futurecast rainfall continues to pull that heavy rain, 8 inches plus, into northern Louisiana and then across toward Macomb, Mississippi in this red area. This is an easy 6 to 8 inches of rain there coming on through. And even these spots of 4 and 6 inches of rain continue right across parts of the Virginias and Washington, D.C., along with the futurecast for the winds. Look at these tropical storm force winds to Oxford as we go into the overnight. And then you're looking at Nashville and Huntsville and Birmingham, even Atlanta, getting a part of these very strong winds as this system continues to push across. So this is what we're looking at. Moving right across through Tennessee by Tuesday, then the Virginias and offshore. But right now, a Category 2 storm still after coming in. By the way, there's an 80% chance of development here. Tropical Depression 10. Julian is already falling apart, 10% chance there. And then you may have heard about Nora on the west coast. It's going to bring in an inch or two, which would be flooding issues for parts of the southwestern United States. So this continues to be a tropical nightmare all across the board. Port Fourchon, 11:55 this morning. 150-mile-an-hour winds. That ties Laura, an 1856 storm in Louisiana, for the strongest. I want to bring in Casey Curry, who's helping us out with our setup until Anthony gets here. So we appreciate you being here. Casey, I was looking back. I don't think other than an 1886 storm that decimated Indianola have we had in Texas a 150-mile-an-hour storm. I can't remember one.
Yeah, we were just talking about it. You and I couldn't remember. We'll probably be up late tonight on the computer trying to research it and see if we're right. But this is definitely a noteworthy storm. It's been scary all day. I imagine for the folks in Louisiana, terrifying. You had that tweet earlier today from your friend who's a meteorologist in New Orleans. I can only imagine what they're covering. And of course, you and I have both been there with both Harvey and Ike. So we definitely can empathize with what they're going through. For us here in Houston, we really have seen very little effect from what's going on in the tropics right now. Let's take you to a live look outside. You can see that we've got really pretty quiet conditions out there. We've had a few rain showers across the area. Temperature-wise, we are going to continue to see readings that are very comfortable. We are going to look ahead to seeing some of these outer rain bands possibly affecting parts of our area. We are also going to look ahead to Monday, where we're going to see that north wind that we've got out there continue across the area. Here's what we're looking at right now. You can see that we're on the far west side of this system. A few rain bands tried to make their way in as we went through kind of the early afternoon hours. Nothing really got itself going, but we're going to continue to watch for that northerly flow for us as we head through the day tomorrow. Really nothing out there to concern yourself with in a big way, but we're going to move on through the evening hours with temperatures dropping down a little more. It's still pretty warm out there, 86 up at Bush Airport. There's that north wind that we were just talking about. And as you plan your day tomorrow, keep the umbrella closed. This will be kind of the rule for us throughout the week. Spotty showers possible pretty much every single day. And as you pick up the kids from school tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be warm by 3 o'clock, 97 degrees with a few scattered showers and storms. This trend's going to continue for us throughout the rest of this work week. And as you mentioned, there's more stuff in the tropics to look at. So we'll be continuing to keep you updated, especially that area that's coming off the African coastline.
Thank you for being here, by the way.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
And thank you, Frank and Casey, as well. As we head to break now, we want to give you another look at some of the coastal flooding caused by Ida tonight. This was in Grand Isle, Louisiana. Water as high as that picnic table there as the Gulf came into the park area this afternoon. We'll be right back. We continue to get a look at the damage from Hurricane Ida. That storm coming ashore as a strong Category 4 just before noon today. This is video from Golden Meadow, Louisiana. You can see roofs ripped from buildings and trees there just snapped like matchsticks. And before we leave you tonight, we want to give you another live look at Baton Rouge this evening. Ida now making her way through that city as a Category 2 storm. Frank's got another check of the forecast after this. Stay with us. We continue to get a look at the damage from Hurricane Ida. That storm coming ashore as a strong Category 4 just before noon today. This is video from Golden Meadow, Louisiana. You can see roofs ripped from buildings and trees there just snapped like matchsticks. And before we leave you tonight, we want to give you another live look at Baton Rouge this evening. Ida now making her way through that city as a Category 2 storm. Frank's got another check of the forecast after this. Stay with us. And Frank is back to give us another look at this storm.
105-mile-an-hour storm out there continues to move to the northwest at 9 miles per hour. You can see the eye of that storm crossing I-10 Business and headed to the I-10 main roads there between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, but LaPlace is really getting hit hard. Their flash flood warnings continue really all around Lake Pontchartrain, north and south, and then right up there along I-10. Those will be, I think, in effect, probably all night long. They're going to have flood issues because they have that surge that continues to come in, along with these rainfall totals that are easy to find, 7-8 inches of rain. If you look at 9 to 10 in the bright pinks, and then those purple and blue areas are 10, 12, 15 inches of rain that has fallen already, and it is clearly still coming down. Winds 62 miles an hour sustained right now in New Orleans. It continues to push through 30-mile-an-hour winds in Slidell. Our thoughts are certainly with our friends in Louisiana.
Absolutely. We love Louisiana. We're praying for you. We'll be there to help as